Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. I am Violet de Ayala. I'm the founder of FemCity, and you're joining us for our Monday motivational series. Today, we're going to talk about money. It's one of my favorite topics, and I have committed to actually having more of these conversations in 2021. We're going to bring in Carol. And so let's go ahead and dive in. Carol, we are live, so we just figured you'd loop right in when you got back connected. So we're so happy you're here. So let me introduce to you guys our panelists. If you're watching live, we encourage you to ask questions. You can share, your aha moments as well. If you're watching this on the replay, feel free to still reach out to our global femmes. They're here to help you. Our intention is to help you navigate with money, to make more money, to save more money, to live a more prosperous life. So please continue to reach out to us. And if you want us to elaborate on the conversation or pick a certain topic and kind of do a whole segment on that, we're happy to do that as well. Let's go to Carol. Carol, share about yourself. What makes you an expert when it comes to money?
Okay, I'm a money mindset coach, and I help business owners manage their finances and their beliefs about money so that they can increase their sales, reduce missed opportunities, and become more confident. My background is I am a CPA, so of course I love numbers, and I'm also a NLP master practitioner. So with those two certificates combined together, I think that helps me to understand the mindset of business owners, both personally and professionally.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carol. Let's go to Dawn. Dawn, share a little bit about yourself and what makes you an expert in this topic.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dawn Santoriello, and I am a certified financial planner and founder of DS Financial Strategies. And I help women reach their goals with peace of mind and economic confidence. And my whole mission is to show people the truth about how money really works. And I've been doing this for the past 16 years. Thank you.
Thanks, Dawn. Let's go to Jessica.
Hey, my name is Jessica Elmore. I am a financial advisor for financial really looking people into what financial freedom means to them, because that's different for different people and definitely different for women. And I do that through insurance and investments.
Okay, awesome. We couldn't hear you at the beginning, but we'll go back to you. I think towards the end, it sounded more clear. We're going to throw out please tech people, make sure that it all runs really well so we can all be heard. Thank you so much. Let's go to Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie McCullough, founder of Sophia Financial. I've been a financial advisor 24 years now, and 10 years ago started my own practice really focusing on working with women to empower them to make wise financial decisions so they can control their future.
Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So my first question for the panelists, and the reason why I'm asking this question is I think that a lot of femmes think that they are either destined to have money or destined not to have money. Sometimes we hear femmes that say, you know what, I'd love to have a lot of money, but I'm destined to just always live day to day, kind of making only ends meet. So that's my first question. And my intention, of course, in asking that question is to elevate the conversation so that women can see that they really do have the ability to level up when it comes to their finances. So it's kind of like a trick question, but I want to bring home the message that women really understand that they do have a say in their finances and their money. It's not predetermined based on how you grew up or what your money story is. So let's go to Carol. Thoughts on that question? Oh, we got to unmute you. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Try again, Carol. There you go.
Hello. I love that question, Violet, and how you led into it. Because when I think of this question, it reminds me of what is my life purpose. And my life purpose is to be healthy, happy, and help others. And in order for me to be healthy, well, I need to live in a good place. I need to buy nutritious food. And how am I going to get these things? I need money to buy. I need money to use to buy good food, good nutritious food, to stay healthy, to be happy. I could stay home and be with my family, or we could go on a vacation, or I could go get something to reward me. And helping others, that brings so much joy to your heart, to your soul, when you help others. But how are you going to help others? Sometimes you can use your service, you can use yourself, but also you can help others by sharing your money with them. So for me, it's a life purpose of being healthy, happy, and helping others. And if I want to stay in my best health and be the best happy and be the best at helping each other, well, why not be the best at making money or accumulating money? How I do one thing in life will definitely lead me to do everything else in life. So if I think I'm always out there every single day, every single moment, trying to be my very best, well, that includes also the accumulation of money. Thanks, Violet.
Yeah. And so connecting it with service, because I think that's also another conversation that a lot of femmes have, is that there's a little bit of guilt when they're making money, but you're saying connecting it to service and also connecting it to the emotional side, that when you do have more money, you're able to provide for your family, you're able to live a better life. And there's that, and I don't know why women sometimes have that. They feel guilty of applying so much value on money and feeling guilty when they receive it as well. So let's go to Dawn. Thoughts on, is it predetermined? Do you have control of your wealth? Is it set up already? What are your thoughts?
I don't think it's predetermined, but here's a little funny story. My nephew is named Cash. So I think he's going to have an easier time accumulating cash because that's all he's going to hear. Cash, cash, cash. So it's a mindset. So that's already being ingrained in him. But for those of us who don't have a money name, maybe you go give yourself a nickname. I'm just kidding. Basically, if you want money, you could have it, because basically you could have everything you want. All you have to do is ask for it, go take action, and then be open to receive everything. And then combine that. So that's my little woo-ness thing. Now combine it with the actual money tips, like start saving, start early, learn how finances work, and then you're going to be unstoppable. So the choice is up to you. Do you want to have money in your life, or don't you want to have money? Because you have all the power to make it happen or to make it not happen.
I love that. And the truth is that there's so many examples out there now. I mean, now we know it to be true. So if you're sitting there and you're listening to Dawn and you're like, I can't have money. And by the way, I love, Dawn, that you mentioned manifestation. You have to act on it, right? You can't just dream, oh, I want to be wealthy, and then have someone show up at your door with $1 million in a briefcase. You've got to put action behind it. But the truth is that if you're doubting yourself, there are stories all around us of people that have come from nothing, who have arrived to this country perhaps with nothing, or were born with nothing, and they were able to create tremendous wealth. So if those people were able to leverage and move up, so can you. So for us to have those narratives or those self-limiting beliefs that, oh, I was born poor, I will always be poor, there are stories out there that actually share that it's not true, that you can actually make the changes.
Yeah, and exactly. I was born in a poor neighborhood, and I turned that all around. I wasn't going to let that stop me. That actually drove me into this field, because I was like, I'm never going to be poor again, and I want to help others.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting. I have so many close friends that grew up in poverty, and that was exactly what they told themselves. I will never let this happen to myself as an adult. Like they lived, not having electricity, not having a house, moving from home to home. That I think develops that grit where you take upon yourself to make sure that you will never, ever have those issues again. Jessica, same question to you.
Yeah, thanks. So I think that we are destined to have money. I think anybody can have it. I'm very woo-woo in that way, where one thing that I've learned over the last 10 years is that money is infinite. People don't think that. People really feel like it's a finite resource, and if they have too much, there's not enough to go around. But there's so much money out there. I mean, when you really understand, how much money one of the largest corporations in the United States has, you making $1 million a year is still nothing compared to that. And so I think everybody can have that. And this might be jumping ahead a little bit to, I know you have another question coming up about our money blocks, but that's just the story we tell ourselves. And women are more prone to that, I think, than men, feeling like they're not destined or deserving of those kinds of things.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And I wonder why that is. I mean, I have some sort of sense of why that is, that women feel that way, but I think it's a whole other conversation that we can have at a future time. Stephanie.
I do not believe we're destined to have money. I believed we are destined to have joy and wealth and abundance, but not necessarily money, because the whole money system is a man-made, and I say man purposely, it's a man-made system that we all have to live in, right? Like I grew up watching Little House on the Prairie, and they didn't have money, but they would chop down the trees and build the house and build the furniture, and then they would make all the food. We don't do that. We have to trade our time and our talents and our resources for this thing called money, called cash, like Dawn's nephew, right? And no one taught us how to deal with it. We don't learn personal finance in schools. Most of our families don't teach us. So we've got to take efforts to, and you don't have to get an MBA. You don't have to have a fancy degree to be good at this stuff, but you do have to decide that you're going to pay attention and learn about it, which is why I applaud Violet so much for having these conversations and these talks, because we have to normalize talking about money, because then we get the confidence to figure out how to work in this man-made system.
Love that. Thank you so much. Yeah. And the more we talk about money, I mean, we're going to continue doing it. We're on month 3, almost in April. As Fem City, we're going to keep on talking about money and finances, because I want our femmes to really feel comfortable in talking about investments, saving, investing in themselves, asking for more money, generating more revenue, multiple levels of revenue streams as well. So, all right. So my next question is a really big one. What is the biggest block you guys see with money, with women and money? And the reason why I'm asking is because I know all of you very well, and you all work with women and their money. And so I'm sure you come across this a lot. And my intention in asking this question is that others that are watching perhaps will recognize themselves in some of your answers and realize that they themselves have a block when it comes to money. So what's that number one block that you see when you are working with your female clients that you can share with us today, in the hopes to go ahead and help others to remove that block? And we're going to go through that same circle. Carol, Dawn, Jessica, and Stephanie. Carol, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Violet. So yes, I am seeing a shift right now in the ladies that I am coaching. Previously, I think men and women had a role. The men took the role of managing the finances. The women took the role of looking after the household and taking care of the kids. That's the way it was in the previous generations. And of course, we never talked about money. It was always a private thing, and we never talk about it. So as we grew up, we didn't know what it was like to talk about money. But now here we are, we're talking about money. We talk about money in Mastermind. I was at the Fem City Toronto meeting this morning, and we brought up talking about money, right? So I've been talking about money since 10 o'clock, and it's 1:15. So I've been talking about money. But now as I am talking to more ladies, and they're getting younger, I notice there is a shift. The ladies are now, and you know why the shift came about? I think when someone gets divorced, all of a sudden the man who was looking after the money, he's not there anymore. The women have to step up and do it, especially if there are kids involved. So that leaves a big hole if you didn't know what your finances were, if you're going through a divorce or if the male partner died. So these are, I think it just highlight the areas where women had to become more familiar with money. But so I have 2 teenage daughters, and they're getting older, like 18 and 19. And I see now how they are dealing with money. They have all these apps, these financial apps, which makes it so much easier to connect to your money. So like they can go in daily and check on their bank account to see, hey, did I work? Did my money get in? Did the employer send the money into my account? Did mom and dad send my allowance? Or any receipts? Did the receipts leave? Or so they're checking their bank account almost daily to see what's going on. And also as business owners, we have apps out there like receipt tracking to see how much receipts and expenses we're spending. So I think as we are shifting, we are also shifting the mindset about money. And ladies are now stepping up. They are now talking about money. They're opening the credit card statement. They're dealing with the debt. They're talking to financial advisors. Yes, Dawn, I'm sure you probably have more ladies talking to you now as compared to 10 years ago, right? I would just like to know what that number is. But this is what I'm thinking. And even when we go to the bank, before in olden days, it was probably men who were the managers. And men had a different type of language, the way they talk to each other. Whereas when you go to a lady now, they're not as intimidated talking to another lady if it's a lady manager. So it's all a perception. But right now, I think more than any other time, ladies are stepping up. They are talking about money. And I am so glad that my kids have taken that role and they're looking after their finances. Thanks, Violet.
Thanks, Carol. So maybe the block would have been that maybe women were scared to look at the finances, scared to dive in, and you're seeing them really kind of taking more control over that, which is always, listen, you need to know your numbers. You need to know where everything stands. In order to really accumulate wealth, you need to know where you're at right now and what's happening. Let's go to Dawn. Biggest block you see with women.
Oh, I love this topic because I built a whole presentation around releasing these blocks. So I would have to say is lacking trustworthy financial advice, especially as women, because as Carol mentioned, men typically handled everything. And now some people get divorced. They turn on the news. It's always some scandal like Bernie Madoff. This person stole this money. So it's kind of scary. Or then they've had past experience on their own. Oh, I worked with this person, this guy over here, and he did this. And my mom said, don't work with a guy like this. And like, it's just all this noise and stuff that you have to just break through. So basically you have to just sit down, find out, okay, what do you want to accomplish? And who do you like to work with? And then go out there. There's 3 other amazing women on this call right here that you could work with. Not everybody is going to be for you. Unfortunately, not everybody's going to want to work with me. I know that might be hard to believe for me, but no, I'm just kidding. But I'm not for everybody. Maybe Jessica is, or Stephanie, or Carol, like someone resonates with that. So find someone you resonate with, and that you'll know who to trust because you're just going to feel it. Us as women, that's one of our strongest gifts is our intuition. So don't be afraid. Take that step. And you're watching this right now, so I know you all have taken the first step. So now just go find out who you're comfortable with and start putting a plan together so you can reach your goals. And I'll wait till we come back around because that's going to be my next little tip.
Yeah, I love that. And it goes back to also what Stephanie was saying before as well, is that, it's, I think it was Stephanie that said, sometimes we need to ask for help. Sometimes we have to kind of look to see if someone can guide us, through the finances, because we're not taught personal finances. I mean, we're born and then we expect to be able to manage all this and to invest and to know all these things. And at the end of the day, even with nutrition, you generally have to read a book or a magazine at least to get started. You need to kind of start looking to see who the experts are to help you. And the same thing would hold true with finances, and finding someone that you trust also obviously helps as well. Jessica, same question to you. What's the biggest money block you see with women?
Yeah, so I agree with John and with Carol so far. I mean, I think, generationally, women are just starting to really be in charge of their own money. Women are in the workforce now. And I totally agree with what John said. I have so many women that sit down with me that had a completely different experience sitting down with a male advisor, because of the way men talk, because of the way men talk about money. And they leave feeling like they were talked down to, like they were made to feel bad for asking questions or not understanding. So I think that's a lot of it, seeking out that help from a female advisor. But aside from that, just in general, women, we like to feel a lot of shame and guilt around everything. And one thing I've noticed is that women, they feel a lot of that with their money. If they don't know how much they spend per month, or they don't know how their work benefits work, which nobody does, by the way. The men don't know that either, but the women take it really hard, like, oh my God, I should know this. I'm just failing all over the place, and it's a lot of reassurance, like, hey, no, you're fine. That's why you're here. But women really process this kind of stuff differently. And I think that holds a lot of them back from, seeking out the information or the support that they need.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah, the shame. And we've talked about that a lot also. Every time we do this kind of scenario, talking about money, the shame part also, whether you have just gotten divorced and now you're looking at what happened and you're feeling shame for not knowing, and that's a huge part. Shame for what you mentioned, Jessica, reminds me of the last time I went looking for a new car. Every dealership, I know this is not about money, but every dealership I went to, they didn't look at me. They looked at Steve, even though it was my money that I was going to go ahead and spend on that car. And so imagine that scenario playing out also in the finance world, that when women start kind of looking for the answers, if they're feeling like that, then they just shut it down. They're just going to be like, you know what, I'm just not going to talk about money. I don't want to know about money because clearly, it doesn't feel right when I go to seek those answers out. Stephanie.
I totally agree. And what I was going to say about the biggest money block women face is self-judgment, right? Exactly what we've been saying, to the point that women avoid looking at this and taking the steps and really understanding, how much do I have? Where is it going, right? They feel like the numbers on the page, whether it's, the credit card balance, or how much you spent at Nordstrom last month, or how much isn't in your retirement plan, they feel like the numbers on the page are judging them. When in reality, the judgment comes from up here, right? It's the stuff we're telling ourselves, which is, again, what we're all saying, right? What we need to do is bring some self-compassion and step away from the judgment and say, you know what? I did the best I could with what I had and what I knew at the time. And here I am today, and I'm taking affirmative steps moving forward. And often when I sit down with someone who's been avoiding it for a long time, we look at all the numbers and she's like, oh, it's not that bad. Exactly, right? We kind of build it up as this horrible, scary thing, but it's often not that bad. So if you can bring some self-compassion, let go of the judgment, that's the key to taking the first step.
I love it. And you can't take the next step unless you start there. I mean, that's the other thing, is that there's no way you'll get out of it unless you go back and have that real conversation and releasing that judgment and releasing, saying, you know what, I did the best I could with what I had at that time. And it is what it is. And so now what? So we had a comment that came through, very important and powerful conversation. So important. Thank you, ladies. You're very welcome. That makes us so happy. All right, we're going to start closing out. So I'm going to ask for your final money tip, your money advice. And let's go ahead and address it in a way for someone who's really just starting to realize they have the power in creating their own wealth and they want to level up. So what would be your money advice for them? And then also, how can femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world? Let's go to Carol.
So I would say dream big and act big. Manifest, manifest, manifest. And of course, act means you need to have those goals. And when you're setting those goals in place, make sure, think of this. When you get into a car and you put in the GPS, it will tell you how to get to your journey, at the end of your journey, wherever you're going to. Well, the same thing. And on the way in that journey, you may run into traffic. You may run into an accident. Or you may have to do a detour. The same thing, when you're setting your goals, have an alternative plan, because obstacles will come up. Nothing is going to go smoothly. So don't wait until everything is perfect to get started. Start where you are right now and know that you may fall down, but pick yourself up, get back in the game, and keep going. So that's my last and final tip. Keep going. As a child, when you're little and you fall down the first time, you don't stay down. How many times do you get up and up again with a smile on your face? Hey, I did it. I'm up again. Keep doing that as we travel on this wonderful journey. I am Kara Ward, and you can find me on Facebook as Kara Ward, and on Instagram as Kara Ward CPA. And I'm also on LinkedIn. Thanks, Violet.
Yeah, I love it. And Carol, I love you said start today. Start where you are right now. Because so many times we wait, right? We wait until December 31st. We wait until January 1st. We put these random dates, but the reality is start today. Just get going. Just start making those changes today. Even if it's $1, $2, $10, just start moving forward. Love that, Carol. Thank you. Let's go to Dawn.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Don't procrastinate, because tomorrow never comes. You think it's going to keep getting put out. And also work with somebody. And it's not just about somebody to handle your portfolio. It's about the mentorship that they're going to provide you and the accountability and the whole behavioral coaching, like how we're talking here. Because again, you need to have the mind right and to know what to do with the money to help you become successful. And I know I offer tons of free educational videos on my YouTube channel. I'm always doing free webinars. So even if someone's like, maybe I don't think I have enough money, you're going to learn the tips that you're going to need to get started. And which also brings me to my call to action. I'm offering everybody who's listening to this a free consultation, which I'll put down in the links below on the chat so you can find a way to get started. And also follow me on social media. I'm all over YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then also check out my website, dsfinancialstrategies.com. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Let's go to Jessica. Final money advice, and how can femmes find you to learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
Yeah, thanks. So my biggest piece of advice is just education. One thing, you gotta take this theory away from money. You can work with an advisor, you can start Googling, although that's, you're not always going to find the best information, but as long as you're being proactive about trying to understand it more, it really takes all the fear away from it. And then learning, when you have education about how your money works and what you should be doing, that's where financial security really comes from. It's from understanding what you're doing with your money. And I love what the other ladies have said already, like done is better than perfect, right? Just get started. Doesn't matter how much you have. Everybody deserves a financial plan. And I'm the same as Dawn. You can get a free consultation with me as well. The best place for you is to hunt me down. My website's JessicaElmore, all one word, .nm.com.
Great. Thank you so much. And let's go to Stephanie.
Yeah, the thing about money is, right, a lot of the financial advice is simple, but it's not easy. And the reason it's not easy is because of how we're wired. I'm a student of behavioral finance, and Violet and I have touched about this before. The brain's actually wired not to be good in this weird man-made world of money. So let's let ourselves off the hook, right? If I bounced a check last year, if I spent way too much on those custom jeans last month, that's actually hardwired into our brain. So we've got to let ourselves off the hook and, find a way to thrive on it anyway. So if you start noticing your own patterns, start noticing, when do I feel, more subject to temptation? When do I feel like ready to go and tackle my finances? And when am I just too exhausted to do it? Like, notice those patterns, work with your own energy, work with your own, ebbs and flows of willpower, and you will find a way to make it work for yourself. I have a podcast called Take Back Retirement. You can find it on takebackretirement.com. My website is Sophia Financial. That's SOFIA Financial.com. And I'm on social media as well. Hope to see you all soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies. For those that are watching, let us know how these tips helped you. Please stay in touch. We had some more love that came through. Patty said, love this, Stephanie. And then another watcher, audience member said, manifest, manifest, manifest. Yes, Carol, keep going. So absolutely. And again, going back to what Dawn said about manifesting, is that you've got to put the action in. So you can manifest, you want $1 million or $2 million or however much, or $20, but you've got to go ahead and do the action steps as well. And then another tip came through, or another comment, Stephanie, we have to let ourselves off the hook. I felt this, heart. And Patty says, thank you, ladies. So thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be back on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. To learn more about FemCity, head over to femcity.com. We will see you guys back. Bye. Panelists, stay on so we can take a picture.